Good morning and welcome to your River Cities Report, serving Huntington, Ashland, Ironton, and all the great communities surrounding the Ohio and Big Sandy Rivers. I'm Dave Benton. It is Sunday, January 8th. Thanks for starting your day with us. Now, here are some of the stories that we'll be taking a look at today. We are going to take a look at the year in review for Huntington, what some city leaders say they see for the future. And there's always something happening at the Gallagher Village Library. We'll find out how kids are staying busy during the cold winter months in this little nook full of books. But first, let's get right to the top stories that made headlines this week. 2 stores at the Huntington Mall are closing, but the space won't be empty for long. Mall officials say New York and Company and Express are both expected to be gone by the end of this month. The space where Express is will be used to expand the shoe department. New York and Company will be converted into a Carter's Children's store. And a new year brings a chance for many to reflect, and that's no different for business owners. Eyewitness News reporter Sean Delancey shows us who's thriving and who's struggling to stay in business.
Historically the center of downtown business, Huntington's 4th Avenue is experiencing an exodus. The latest business to pack up and leave was a veteran of the block, West Virginia Business Products, now located outside of Barboursville.
For me, it was emotional because, I started there day one.
Day one for General Manager Hal Zimmer was 34 years ago. He says leaving Huntington was a hard choice, having built the business from ground zero and calling Huntington home.
Some of our customers are kind of ill. They've been in business downtown for a long time, and they're like, well, where are you going? How am I going to get my office supplies?
Zimmer moved because his space was too large for the business, but many others have left 4th Avenue for greener pastures. The Coal Exchange, Omni, and Morris buildings sit empty. Wrights and Glenn's moved to 3rd Ave, taking advantage of booming foot traffic a block away.
I hate to think that 4th Avenue is just going to die on the vine,
The Huntington Regional Chamber of Commerce is aware of the issue businesses still operating on 4th Ave face.
The simple truth is you've got to have a reason for people to travel that direction.
Chamber President Bill Bissett says focusing on key attractions could bring people back and unite 3rd and 4th into a single shopping district.
We've got that center of the universe there, the Keith Albee, which I think we all know and love. If we can continue to grow the Keith Albee, we can continue to grow 4th Avenue.
Thank you, Sean. Now, Zimmer says the goal eventually is to find a location back in Huntington, but fee increases like the recent sewer rate hike may keep him outside city limits when the time comes. A group of volunteers want to give the stadium at the old Sarita Canova High School a makeover. CK High played hundreds of football games at Ward Craycraft Stadium for more than 50 years, but now the facility is starting to crumble. The Stadium Bleacher Committee wants to fix it up and make it more handicap accessible, even use brick veneer to match the new elementary school, which is being built right next door. The goal here is to keep youth athletics alive and give the community a nostalgic look back at CK High School.
It's one piece that we have left in our community that we can rally around, that bonds us all together, that we can meet there and talk about happy days or the good old days.
Now, the group says they will raise the money and do the work. All they need now is the go-ahead from the Wayne County School Board, and they would like to have the work finished in time for the fall football season. The newly appointed sheriff in Cabell County says he already has some fresh ideas to help tackle the area's drug problem. The new sheriff has 30 years of law enforcement experience, including a stint as state police trooper and as a police chief for the city of Milton. He says he'd like to try a new approach to fixing the drug problem, including more involvement with community groups.
We know that most of the drugs comes back to Huntington. We know that's where the big drugs are, but they're dealing drugs in Salt Rock and Cologne and Barboursville and out on the ridge. We've got to do better as a group, as a collective group, to go out there and try to eradicate this problem.
And Sheriff Zirkle says becoming sheriff was a goal he set for himself a couple years ago. The Huntington Police Department just got a little larger as 5 new police officers were sworn in the other day. One of the officers is already certified, but 4 will go through the police academy. Police Chief Joe Ciccarelli says he's pleased with the new recruits and believes they will help the department continue its goal of serving the community.
It's about a total of 36 weeks of training, nearly double what the state requires. But at the end of that period, we're very confident that these officers will be equipped to handle any situation that they encounter out on the street.
The new additions bring the total number of officers to 112 in the department. Huntington City Council welcomed 7 new members. Last week, the council elected Mark Bates as chairman and Alex Vence as vice chair. Also, the Cabell County Board of Education accepted the resignation of Superintendent William Smith. He's retiring after serving 12 years as superintendent for Cabell County Schools.
Mr. Smith has been with us for 12 years, and he's been a very good superintendent, in my opinion. gets along with the public and very well thought of. And in my heart of hearts, I hate to see him go.
The board is beginning the procedure to replace Smith. And a new circuit court judge will be presiding over Cabell County. Judge Greg Howard was sworn in this week. Howard went to Marshall and WVU. He was a prosecutor, delegate, and involved in private practice. Howard replaces Judge Jane Husted and will hold the office for the next 8 years.
It feels good. It's an honor and a privilege to be elected to hold this position. I think it's a great responsibility, and I look forward to serving the people.
Last month, Judges Jera Howard and Jason Spears were sworn in as new family court judges in Cabell County. And this past week was the first week of the new year, and with the beginning of every year, you'll hear reminiscence of the past and projections for the future. In Huntington, there seems to be a good dose of enthusiasm with the possibilities of economic growth. Well, River City's report producer Bobby Lee Messer talks to city leaders who are optimistic for things to come for the city.
If you live in Huntington, West Virginia, you know that there are varying opinions on the quality of life here, the level of opportunity, the amount of crime, how friendly people are, and many more topics. Everyone seems to have an opinion. And as there are many opinions, for this piece, I thought I would narrow it down quite a bit and seek out some of the more visible people in the city and hear their thoughts on the state of Huntington.
In the early part of the 20th century, Huntington was one of the fastest growing cities in the nation. It was growing at a rate that Chicago was growing. Huntington was known as the We Will city. I'm Steve Williams, and I'm the mayor of Huntington, West Virginia. Huntington's in a renaissance right now. Huntington is at the point where we can be better than we have ever been before. What we are embarking upon is growth and accomplishment that eclipses what was happening in the 1940s and beyond. Huntington is a regional hub. This entire region, and I'm saying beyond Charleston, on deep into southern West Virginia, into eastern Kentucky, southern Ohio, depends on the growth of Huntington.
What we have behind me here basically is a historical home, a beautiful structure that has become dilapidated and unfortunately is losing its value as it ages. I'm John Short, and I am chairman of the Huntington Urban Renewal Authority and a former city councilman. What we are now basically is a community of concerned citizens. I really think Huntington is that. We are really searching for solutions to our problems. And because we're a community and we have so many different points of view, both the old Huntington and the new Huntington, I think the communication has to be, the channels have to focus really on communication and how we can solve a lot of these problems. Basically, think about this. We've had a migration of the city. Okay, so we were a city in the 1950s of 80,000. Now we have 49,000. Well, guess what? We still have the housing stock, okay, that represents 80,000. So if you if you use your addition there, you're looking at 30,000 homes, okay, that we don't have the residents necessarily to live in. The land bank is the city's receptacle, if you will, okay, for tax delinquent properties where people have abandoned them, are no longer paying taxes, and of course they are sold on the courthouse steps. And so we are making an effort, okay, to take those abandoned properties, to bid on them and to buy them, and then to repurpose them, reuse them, put them back on the tax rolls.
And when we come back, we'll continue with two more younger leaders in our state of Huntington. And welcome back to River City's report. We now continue with the state of Huntington and a summary of years past and future possibilities.
I'm Jennifer Wheeler, and I serve on Huntington City Council. Huntington is a very special place. We have all the charm of a small town, but we have the amenities of a big city. There are things that we have that other cities our size can't boast. The Huntington Museum of Art, for instance, is one of only 800 accredited museums in the entire world. There's a Matisse and a Picasso and names that you would expect to hear at a museum in New York City. We have those up on the hill. Recently I was downtown and I was at the Huntington Holiday Inn facing south towards part of downtown. And if you notice from 8th Street down to the plaza, every single space is either a new restaurant or business, or it's being renovated, or it has recently been renovated.
Jesse Stewart once said, Huntington is somewhere for some and nowhere for many. And the many that it does mean something to, people came here because of the river and the rail. It's always been an epicenter for people in Appalachia. It's always been a mothership where people came from all over eastern Kentucky and southern Ohio and western West Virginia to come to town for everything, whether it was to get goods and services or to head out to the pub or something. My dad, my grandfather, and uncle all retired from Armco Steel, and so Huntington and the Tri-State's always been kind of a blue-collar town, and these days, and for a long time, quite a shade of green as well. And to me, that's what makes Huntington an interesting town, is we have Marshall, but we're a big enough blue-collar town and a big enough city to have other industry as well. Huntington's had a great resurgence and rise of the creative class. So we've had a lot of people in their 20s, people like Drew and Megan Hetzer, people like Patrick Guthrie, who have really done a wonderful job of turning some of our old spaces in town, reimagining those, putting creative people to work, and making some wonderful places that people want to come from all over the region and come and see. It's kind of like Asheville was probably 15 years ago, and so we're seeing things like My Brother and Me. You see that the McElroy brothers, they filmed their TV show here, and it's coming out in February, and so we're going to see more fruit as more people recognize Huntington from this TV series, and so it's really going to be, I think we're in a great creative launch. We're sitting on the launch pad, I think, right now, and we're really going to see some amazing things happen in the future.
When you walk down to the Ohio River, and that ancient river just continues to meander on by you, and you can look up and you can see the sun dropping down behind the mountains to the west. You take a picture of that, it could be the most exotic place in the world, and it's just right here on the banks of the Ohio River in Huntington.
And being a resident of Huntington myself, it's really good to see people who are enthusiastic about the future of our town. Well, coming up next in your River Cities Report, when it's cold outside, kids get bored inside. Well, we show you an alternative. And welcome back to your River Cities Report. It is winter, it's cold, and when there's no snow to play in, there's very little to do outside unless you live near the Gallaher Village Library.
This is the Gallaher Village Library on the east end of Huntington. And just like most libraries, it is usually quiet and relaxed. A place to escape maybe, or to collect your thoughts and consider whatever book you may be reading. But sometimes,
every Thursday at 10 o'clock, usually 10 to 11 or in that area, we have a story time for our preschool children. We'll start by a dance or doing some kind of exercise. We move on to stories. We read 3 books, and then we go into a craft. We use a different medium each week to get the kids a little interested in all of them. And I just give them a basic pattern and things and let them do whatever they want to do. Just kind of turn them loose for their imagination, and it goes wild, as you've seen.
Isn't it pretty? Isn't that a pretty city?
Our story times, it gives them a time to interact with other children. A lot of the children that come are from single families. They're a single child, and it gives them time to play with other kids and get to know other kids. Some are children that their older sisters or brothers have started to school. They're home by themselves for the first time, and that gives them a time to get used to school and things before they actually start into their preschools. They get to know what they can do and a little bit of what they can't do.
Ashley Daniels is a stay-at-home mom and says she comes every Thursday to Storybook Time, but also appreciates other activities the library has to offer, and I asked her why they are important to her.
Well, this gives them new experiences that they don't get when we're just, in the house all day. So they get to come out and, be with the other kids and, see the different things that the library has to offer. They always have different programs and stuff for them to just have new experiences.
I have 3 kids of my own. They're all grown now. I have 4 grandkids. I didn't get to be around the grandkids a lot when they were growing up. They're from this area, but we were doing other things, so we kind of missed it. These kids that we have story time with, we get to watch them grow up. We had the one little one that he's been coming since he was 3 weeks old. His mother started bringing him because his older brother came. We get to see them go all the way up to preschool, and then they usually keep coming back. We have programs of the summer for older kids. Those older kids will come back that have started in the story time. So they're kind of our kids that we're watching grow up.
Adkins has been at the Gallagher Village Library for a couple of years now and says there are sometimes as many as 30 children at Storybook Time, and that one of her goals is to teach them the value of reading.
I bring my daughter here a lot. She loves story time. She's an only child, so it's good for her to interact with other kids. Chase me! She loves it here. She reads books at home and things like that. She'd much rather read books than play with toys.
The library gives a lot of the children in the community a place to come to. Unfortunately, a lot of them don't have home lives like we would like to envision for our children. And it gives them a safe haven. They'll come here and they'll stay. They get to know the librarians. They'll talk to us about things that they need somebody to talk to. It sort of gives them a home away from home.
And the Gallagher Village Library offers many after-school programs, including homework help and reading projects. Just look them up on the web and you'll see a schedule filled with events for kids and adults. We'll be right back with your River Cities Image of the Week. And welcome back to River Cities Report. Every week we introduce you to a pet looking for a home. And this week we take you to Little Victories Animal Shelter and introduce you to a black lab hound dog mix named Buck.
Hello, I'm Evan. I'm with Little Victories. We're a no-kill shelter in Ono, West Virginia. Today I'm going to show you guys my friend Buck here. He's been with us a few months and he's just over a year old. As you can see, he's a pretty big hefty guy. He's around 70 pounds. He is a black lab and hound mix. He's pretty well behaved. He does know some basic commands like sit. He can stay sometimes, depends on his excitement level. He does great with other dogs and he likes most people. Sometimes it takes him a little bit to warm up to you. You give him a toy or some treats and he'll be your friend for life. He is a hound, so he does have a pretty intimidating bark. He's a little on the goofy side. As you can see, he's very lovable, very playful. He has been neutered. He's up to date on all his shots. The adoption fee is $100, and he is available for adoption today. You can come out and meet him. Like I said, we're in Ono, West Virginia on Wire Branch Road, or you can go on our website at littlevictories.org, or you can give us a call at 304-743-5802.
Well, our producer Bobby Lee says that Buck's about the lovingest dog he's ever met. Maybe you can give him a good home. Now let's take a look at the week ahead here in the River Cities. Next weekend, you can see the Action Sports Arena Moto X Championship, 7 p.m. Saturday, 2 o'clock Sunday at the Big Sandy Superstore Arena. And Melissa Etheridge will perform at the Paramount Arts Center in Ashland on Tuesday. That concert starts at 7:30. Now let's check out this cool shot of a sunset taken by Rhonda. Very nice, Rhonda. And we are looking for photos or videos just like this that you can take. So get creative and send one to us. Here's all you have to do. After you take your photo, just upload it to our fall photos section at burst.com/WCHS-TV. And you can also find us online at WCHSTV.com, Facebook or Twitter, and you can email us directly at news@WCHSTV.com. We want to thank you for starting your day with us here on River Cities Report. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, and we'll see you next Sunday. Stay tuned now for Full Measure with Cheryl Atkinson.